Hey class, it's Darwin here, doing my author study. I chose S.E. Hinton, and I thought I would share um, her story with you today. So my approach was to include a little bit about her biography, some of my own critical responses to the books that she wrote, and my own personal response. So S.E. Hinton, Suzanne Eloise Hinton, born July 22nd, 1948 in Tulsa, Oklahoma. She went to Will Rogers High School and also Tulsa University. Her first book, The Outsiders, she started writing actually when she was 15, and I think finished the book when she was 16 and published it in her freshman year of college. Um, the picture here to the right is her cameo role in the film The Outsiders. Um, S.E. Hinton used the pen name S.E. Hinton because it disguised her gender, and both she and her publishers felt that her books would be more successful if the readers believed that she was male, because she herself was kind of a self-proclaimed tomboy and kind of felt that girls. There were a lot of books written for girls at the time, but not many for boys. So she kind of felt that that was her niche. S.E. Hinton is known for some common young adult themes such as social classes, delinquency, drugs, appearances, cliques and gangs, tough kids making tough choices. And I just wanted to point out that this year, 2017, marks the 50th anniversary of the publication of The Outsiders. Here's a few interesting facts. So, S.E. Hinton in her 20s, she tried teaching, but quickly gave up. She became too attached to the students and reasoned that she could write books and help a lot of kids, reach out to a lot of kids through her writing, or teach and help just a few and go nuts, is the way she put it. Um, Hinton's first royalty check was $10. And at one point, The Outsiders was in danger of going out of print. It actually never went. It still has not gone out of print. It's widely held as one of the most successful young adult novels ever published. Um, Librarians and teachers actually made it a bestseller, and a landmark and a turning point in how literature was presented to the students. I think this is telling to S.E. Hinton's legacy. Before The Outsiders, textbooks were used in English classes, and as she said, she remembers going to the American Library Association conferences, and they were clamoring for something different. We realized that there was a real market for books such as The Outsiders, says Ron Buell, who's a longtime friend of Hinton, and I believe he was a publisher um, at Dell. And basically, he was the one who started looking at the sales numbers and realized that there was this market in something called young adult literature. So she was actually a pioneer in the field, perhaps the creator of the genre, as many would credit her with. So some of her awards, she had awards for The Outsiders, awards for That Was Then, This Is Now, awards for Rumblefish, awards for Text, awards for Taming the Star Runner, and awards for The Puppy Sister. I think The Puppy Sister is the only one in this selection of her books that's not would not be classified as young adult. As I said earlier, S.E. Hinton was a pioneer in young adult literature. Um, the Outsiders has gone on to sell more than 14 million copies. It's second only to Charlotte's Web in terms of book sales to young people. Um, she recalled in some of the research that I did, um, there were no young adult books or a young adult market. Her book, written by a teenager about teenagers in Tulsa, Oklahoma, was issued in hardcover by the Viking Press and then in softcover by Dell, both adult trade imprints. The Outsiders died on the vine, being sold as a drugstore paperback, Hinton told me, but the publisher noticed that in one area it was selling very well. Teachers were using it in classes. All of a sudden, they realized that there was a separate market for young adults. It's actually where I came across the book. I read it, I think, somewhere around 1982 in middle school, and it was memorable for me. Um, Back when I went to school, we had two groups or social classes. We had jocks, who were the equivalent to the socias. They were the popular kids, maybe the more affluent kids. We also had a class of kids called burnouts, who were the kids who were out smoking cigarettes in the smoking area and doing things that were, generally speaking, frowned upon by teachers and the adults running the school. Um, Hinton once received a D in creative writing. As a child, she dreamed of writing a book. She wanted to read a novel that told the truth about how kids think. 40 years later, a lot of people are still saying that she succeeded in that regard, and obviously this is, I'm spending a lot of time on The Outsiders because I think she was a bit of a rock star. I use that as a metaphor because she really made her hay with The Outsiders, and actually I think struggled to top it. I think her first novel was her best and brought her to notoriety, and then followed it up with some really good books, but none had quite the same impact as The Outsiders. So, and just more about what people were saying. Finally, someone was writing about the real concerns and emotions of a teenager. The Outsiders marked the beginning of a new kind of realism in books written for the young adult market, and Hinton's next 4 books followed suit. This is I came up with this quote. I say S.E. Hinton is to YAL as Levi Strauss is to Blue Jeans. So I'm kind of saying there that I believe she actually created the young adult market, the young adult literature genre. I thought I would share with you, in the spirit of 50 years anniversary, just a little bit of a YouTube video, and I think I'm going to take it here to about 20 seconds and just play a little bit.
I'm S.E. Hinton, but you can call me Susie. I'm here at the Admiral Twin Drive-In. This is a theater where I went often as a kid, and when I was writing The Outsiders, I used this location for an incident in the book.
Bring me a Coke! I don't have enough money.
This is the area where we set up with chairs like it was in my day when I was a teenager. Usually the kids that sat in front of the concession stand were the kids that walked in and paid $0.25. So you normally didn't see girls like Cherry and Marcia sitting out here. But I was out here one evening and I saw girls having a fight with their boyfriends, get out of the car and sit over in the chairs and kind of a mad huff. And that inspired the incident that I later wrote into the book.
So here, S.E. Hinton is just talking about her own experiences as a young adult, an adolescent, and kind of the things around her, the things that she experienced, influenced her to react and write and express herself. She actually says further on in the video that one of the main inspirations for writing The Outsiders was she was mad about the groups, the classifications of kids and how they couldn't get along, and there was a lot of strife and turmoil because of that. So I hope you enjoyed my my author study, and thank you for listening.